Okay, let's talk for a minute about icing consistency. So consistency is really important with your icing. So you might be able to see here with this purple icing, I can make some peaks with it. When I draw a line through it, it's taking a while to smooth out. So this is not what we're looking for the type of cookies we're doing. What we want is a thinner icing called flood consistency. So what we're looking for here, see it's not keeping its peaks very well. We want an icing that when we put it on the cookie, it's going to smooth out and make that nice, flat, even surface. So this is sometimes called 10 to 15 second icing. So you can see when I draw a line in it, it heals pretty quickly. That line is going away much faster than the line in the purple icing. And if I take this and shake it a little bit, it's nice and smooth, just like we want on our cookies. So what that requires is you carefully add water a little bit at a time and test it as you go along. Do that 10-second test where you count to 10 to 15 or get out your phone, use the timer on it. I'm to the point where I've done this enough, I kind of know how it's going to behave on my cookies, but believe me, I had my phone timer out and would test that. The other tip I'll tell you is that if you start working with icing and it's too thin or too thick, take it out, stop what you're doing, remix it, rebag it, get it the right consistency. You won't be happy with your cookies if you're using the wrong consistency icing. So I also wanted to show you how I get this icing from a bowl into a bag. I use these Master disposable piping bags. I can't tell a big difference from one brand to the other, but I can find these on Amazon and they're relatively inexpensive. So what we're going to do, we're going to take just a water glass, we're going to open our bag, and we're going to put it in that glass and then fold the sides down. So now we can take our bowl and we can scrape our icing into that bag, nice and neat. Gravity does the work of taking the icing down into the bottom of the bag. And then we can take it, kind of shake it a little bit, smooth the icing down. And we can leave a little bit of air in the bottom there, but I like to kind of push it down. And then we're just going to tie it off. Now we have our bag of icing. Now what I'm going to do next is show you how I cut the tip of this bag of icing. So for illustration purposes, I'm just going to color this tip. Maybe that'll help you be able to see it a little bit better. Certainly you don't need to do this, but what I'm doing here, if you look at your bag, notice there is a seam on one side of the bag. That's what we want to look for. So we want to take our bag, flatten it out against that seam, get it nice and smooth, nice and even. And then we're going to take our scissors and snip the bag. Now I have some craft scissors, embroidery scissors here. You want something really sharp because once you cut that edge, you need that edge to be very smooth and even so that your outlines and the flow out of the bag is nice and even. So we're going to just snip a little bit less than you think you need. You can always cut off more, but of course it's difficult. You can't go back once you've cut it and you may need to rebag it. So I'm taking this, I've got my little piece of paper towel here, and I'm just going to test the flow. So is that coming out with any air bubbles? Is it the width I want? I think that'll be just fine. And so I'm good to go with decorating my cookies.